spotlighting the Hudson Valley's talents, innovations, inspirations, and the creativeness of its communities. Highland Public Library is proud to present Uncover and Discover. Meet the surprising neighbors you may not have heard about.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been practicing Tai Chi.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm a professor in the School of Education at SUNY New Paltz. I train people to be teachers and literacy specialists. And in 2018, when I was on sabbatical from work, I decided to try Tai Chi and Qigong, and I liked it so much, as with many things that I enjoy, I became certified to teach it. And so in the summer of 2019, I received my first level of certification, which is to be what's called a Tai Chi Easy practice leader. And then after that, I started teaching Tai Chi Easy at the library. Unfortunately, I was this summer scheduled to do the next level of training, which would have taken me to be a Qigong certified instructor, but of course the pandemic shut that down. But that's my next goal as an instructor, is to continue my certification.
Yeah, if you would explain exactly what Tai Chi Easy is.
Sure, so Tai Chi Easy is was designed by Dr. Roger Janke, who is my teacher, one of my teachers, and it brings together Tai Chi as well as Qigong practices in a form that anyone can engage in. So I'm going to give you just a quick overview of Qigong and Tai Chi and what's the same and what's different. Qigong is like an umbrella term, and it encompasses a medical practice, a spiritual practice, and also martial arts practice, and that's the Tai Chi. So Tai Chi comes under that Qigong umbrella. Qigong is traditionally done standing or seated, and it is flowing arm movements linked with the breath. And you can think of it as being for the body. It helps you switch to the mend and befriend system and help you cultivate the energy to heal from within. Tai Chi is those flowing arm movements, but now we add a special kind of walking, Tai Chi walking. So it is like chewing gum, rubbing your belly, patting your head, and walking at the same time. So you can think of Tai Chi being really good for your mind, because making new pathways to figure out how to use your arms and move your feet at the same time in new ways helps with brain plasticity. So Tai Chi Easy brings together thinking about those flowing movements, the breath, self-applied massage, and relaxation techniques, along with a simplified Tai Chi form. So think about this. Traditional Yang style Tai Chi is 108 forms. That means, and a form can be made up of multiple movements. So you can go study that for 2 years before you can figure it out. So Dr. Janke said, hey, let's bring the benefits of that here in a way that people will want to keep coming back to. So we have 5 form, and we get all the benefits of the movement, but we can just get going much faster. So in addition to the Qigong elements, we also in Tai Chi Easy learn the 5 form with walking, which is always really fun and challenging. So that's what you'll get in a Tai Chi Easy class.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. So I have a question for you. Can you let us know how Tai Chi is different from yoga for people who might not be familiar with those differences?
Sure. I thought about this a lot. And first I thought I would talk about the similarities. They're both what are called mind-body practices, and that's to help you align. The intention is to align the body and the mind to bring you into the present moment. And the ways that you do that are different. So I can only speak from my experience going to some yoga classes about the differences. I'm sure a certified teacher could tell you a lot more about yoga in particular, but I found that you go and the goal is to try to get into a pose and hold the pose. And in Tai Chi and Qigong, you do flowing movements that are repeated and linked with the breath. So it's a constantly moving situation. So the best I can explain also is that in yoga, there's a lot of poses where you can be on the floor, you can be standing. Qigong is done primarily seated or standing. You can do it without any props. A lot of times, I know in particular for my body type, I needed like 16 blocks for yoga to be able to get my knees where they were supposed to be. So Tai Chi and Qigong, you do not have to do props. The kinds of movements you do, it's not required.
Wonderful. Okay, so tell me, how does it benefit you as an instructor or as a participant?
Oh my goodness, so the benefits are enormous. I will tell you how I came to be trying Tai Chi and Qigong, and I can tell you a little bit about how Tai Chi and Qigong are related if you would like afterwards. But I had chronic back pain, and Western medicine with x-rays and pain medicine, none of it was achieving the goal of relief and improved mobility. I had very limited motor mobility. I couldn't bend down very far. I couldn't turn very quickly. And so when I had this opportunity where I was not having to go to work every day, when I was on sabbatical, I thought, okay, I'm going to try something else because why not? There's nothing to lose at this point. I tried yoga and I was in so much pain that I couldn't do the yoga. It was too much to get down on the floor, do different poses. And so I tried this. And the first benefit was that the way the movements are structured and the way my instructors taught it, it's all about listening to your body and moving just within your comfort zone. And eventually, because you're de-stressing your body at the same time, you're able to improve your comfort zone and expand it. So another benefit is it's not just movement that stretching or exercise like we think about it in the West, but it's aligning those movements to your breathing. And one of the goals is to bring your breathing rate and lower it so that instead of being in a constant state of fight or flight, you're able to flip over to, I've heard it called rest and digest or mend and befriend. And what happens then is your body is capable of finally just letting out this big sigh and relaxing, and your body came with the ability to heal itself. That's how it's designed. But when you become in too much pain and too stressed and too ratcheted up, like we get as we do in the West in particular, it's always so busy and so stressed. And this was before the pandemic, where then we were also worried about, oh no, we're going to get sick. Our body never could just calm down and access the healer that is within us. So going to this practice helped me find stress relief. And then I would say the third benefit that was so wonderful was the community I found. So I found a great group of teachers in the Hudson Valley. We live in a wonderful area for this, and they introduced me to their teachers. I went to the Omega Institute where I got my first training certification, and that community came together online when the pandemic first hit and everything shut down. Instead of doing less Tai Chi, I was doing Tai Chi and Qigong with my classmates 6 days a week because we went online. Everybody just started taking care of each other and put classes online immediately. So that community, you can do the practices yourself and feel great benefit. But when you do them with a group of others, whether it's in person or you're sharing that space online, then the effects are magnified, I found.
I really like that because it really encompasses so many issues that people are facing right now. You know, even just like with mental health and mindfulness and not being able to turn off during this stressful time. I mean, I feel like our brains have been at like 100% overload since March, you know? So I think that kind of leads into another question that you kind of addressed this, but I'll ask it anyway. So do you think that this is a good practice for somebody who has never exercised before, has kind of like no experience in any of this kind of practice?
Absolutely. I think that Qigong and Tai Chi are perfect exercises for everyone. So because the movements, they're deceptively easy. So it's just like, oh, I'm just floating my arms up and down. But because you're doing it so thoughtfully, it's making these changes in your body. It's improving strength. The movements improve balance. They boost your immune system. They help you focus. So even if you can't stand up, you can sit in a chair and do these movements. There are studies that do these in the hospital with people lying down, and there are benefits. So even if you have never done a mindfulness practice and you're like, what is that? That's woo-woo. This is a really easy one to start with because all you're doing is thinking about these movements and breathing, and that keeps your mind focused. Also, it doesn't matter what state of fitness you're in, it can help you. So when I became an instructor, my mama is 71 and she started doing Qigong with me. She comes to classes with me online now. She's down in Georgia and she loves it. When I taught at the library, I had the most fabulous student who loved to come and tell me, do you know how old I am? I'm 86 years old. And I was like, yes, you are. And he was rocking it. It's also great for kids. Several of the people in my community are teachers in elementary schools, and they are using these practices with kiddos right now. Kiddos are so stressed out about not being at school, but also then having to go back to school, and it's so strange. But doing the simple breathing and flowing movements that we do in class help shift their energy. So I say it's for all the people. I feel like we should all be doing this to help everyone just be so much calmer and feel so much better.
I totally agree and deeply appreciate you taking the time and explaining, the difference between Tai Chi and Qigong and yoga, that you don't have to, be a professional athlete, or it doesn't matter what your fitness level is. And you did kind of address this, that it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or your age. This has benefits throughout, age limits. So I guess my next question to you is that if you are able to offer this at the library, how long should the class be? Like, how long should you practice Tai Chi? Should you do it like for 15 minutes and, receive benefits, or should you, practice it every day for an hour? What would you suggest?
That's a great question. So the beauty of this is you can do it for short periods of time, or you can do an hour-long class and you're going to get benefit. So one of my teachers says, when you ask him, when should you do Tai Chi and Qigong? He says, all day, every day. And all that means is it's a way of being in touch with your body and your breath that you can find anywhere. So I go to hour-long classes, but I also will to meet with y'all, I took 3 minutes and did some breathing and movement exercises just to help my mind be focused on what it was we were doing. Back when I used to go to the grocery store, I get real fidgety in lines. They make me upset. So I would practice my shift and pivot, which is what you use when you do Tai Chi walking, just simply back and forth in the grocery store line. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I feel so much better. So you can do it as short amount of time as you have or as long as you have. But yes, every day for some period is you're going to see a change really quickly, and just how quickly you can come into the moment. Would you like to try a little exercise of it? You can do it sitting right here.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Okay. Yeah. So we can do this seated, and this is something I do in meetings when I feel stressed and I can't let it show. One of the first things I do in every class with students is we think about and consider what are called the 3 intentful adjustments. Mm-hmm. And they just help us connect our body and our mind together. And we do that first by thinking about our posture. So you may notice when you're sitting, you cross your legs, you cross your ankles, you're all slumped over. So the first thing we do is we just put our feet flat on the floor and just feel the earth. And then we're going to feel how strong our legs are and our connection to the earth is, all the way up through our thighs. And we're going to imagine, we're going to check in with our pelvis. And is it tipped back? Is it tipped forward? We want it tipped, our tailbone tucked a little bit, which makes us sit up straighter. All of a sudden, you can feel the difference when it's out and when it's in. All of a sudden, you feel so much straighter. So we feel the strength and connection to the earth through the lower part of our body. And now we're going to imagine someone has just a very thin golden cord and are pulling up from the crown of our head, and we're going to lengthen through our spine. It's like our vertebrae are going to fall like a string of pearls, and all of a sudden we feel this weight in our lower body and a rising up in our upper body, but our shoulders don't go up. They're nice and rested. And that's our posture. And what you may notice when you do that is the second intentful adjustment happens naturally. We have created space in our body to breathe. So we can inhale deeply into our belly and exhale. And you can exhale through your nose, but if you have stress, it's going to want to come out as a sigh, I bet you. So you just inhale deeply into the belly. Exhale one more time. And that leads us to our third intentful adjustment, and that's the mind. And the beauty of that is when I have focused on my posture and my breath, my mind comes right back into the present moment.
That was wonderful, and it honestly did make me feel less stressed.
Imagine if you did that just 7 minutes every day in different periods of time, how you could shift your energy. And what's beautiful about it is when you shift your energy, it shifts the energy of the people around you. So it's a gift for yourself, but then you're sharing it with others because they feel that calmness, they feel your centeredness, and they're like, oh, you can see that when you breathe, often the people around you, even though they don't know what you're doing, will do the same thing.
That's definitely true. I know that they say we mimic each other's body language, right? So if you're calm, then you're sending that out to others in your vicinity. So, and I'm sure your coworkers will be grateful for it. Right, Lisa?
That's very true. I agree.
I guess I have one last question for you. Do you have any suggestions of if someone's interested in learning more, where they should start, like any helpful websites or books that they can check out?
I do have a web page, and on it I have links to my teachers and also to different videos that I've found to be helpful. My website is H-O-P, Tai Chi, and there's nothing for sale. It's just resources for you to look at. And when you look at the resources link, you'll see my 2 teachers in the Hudson Valley. One has classes, they both have classes online. One, the classes are donation, and one, you can buy class cards. So that's a great place if you want to come find a community. And also, I'm hopeful that now that I've practiced some, I'm going to come and do some classes through the library again, online.
Yes, definitely. That's what we're hoping for as well. Thank you so much, Caroline. We so appreciate your coming today, and participating in our interview. And thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.